Hi everyone, Coach Steve from Smart Endurance Solutions with a short video on how you can better manage your time in an Ironman or 70.3 training year. Look, let's be honest, when you're training for an iron distance event, it's time intensive, it's grueling. There's lots of other things that are pulling at your time, work, life, family, friends, and you're still trying to squeeze in all these hours of training. But there's ways you can actually improve yourself and get better set for your to get the most out of your limited time to give you the best training benefit you can get. I put this down to the 4 P's. And before the marketing majors get excited, this is not the product price placement thingy. This is about plan, prepare, prioritize, and perform. P number 1 is about plan. And that's the first thing. Do have a plan. Make sure you know what you're doing, and it's a progressive plan that will actually help you get stronger block by block. This can be a book you're following, this can be a coach that you're listening to, this can be a plan you buy from Training Picks, but do have a plan. This is not the time to wing it, especially if you're time crunched. You need to know what you are doing is the right thing at the right time. In terms of your plan, design it or work with your coach or move it around that you actually have flexibility. In this, I recommend that you front load the training to the beginning of the week. By this, I mean have a floating rest day on a Friday. So therefore, if things go askew during the week, a late night meeting, was it a family emergency, you can actually move that session maybe from a Tuesday that you had to miss to the Friday. And then that Tuesday becomes the rest day. Give yourself some flexibility. By having your floating rest day on a Friday gives you that option. P number 2 is prepare. This comes from an overall level. When you look at the program of work, if you know that you have your family holidays at this time of the year, or there's a friend's wedding this year, make sure you map on recovery weeks on that, and you try to minimize the training demands during that period of time. It also applies to smaller weekly cycles. Look ahead. What obligations do you typically have? Do you have to bring the kids to soccer on a Friday, or do you have Monday's always a really busy day for you? Adjust the plan that you give yourself a bit more capacity on those days you know it's going to be stressful. Don't assume you're going to be able to squeeze everything in. You'll just set yourself up for failure. It also comes down to on a micro or daily level where you need to, the day before, you look at your plan. You go, okay, I've got to swim in the morning, I've got a bike in the evening, or whatever it may be. And you need to map out the blocks of time that you can actually slot those sessions in. This is where the plan comes in. You know it's a 40-minute swim. You need whatever, an hour to get to the pool, change, do the swim and finish. So you actually know what you're looking for. And then plan your day to try and squeeze those sessions in. A couple of tips here. Morning times are golden. For me personally, and even when I was in the corporate world, it was the only time I had control over my day. The minute it hit 9 o'clock, the phones are ringing, the emails will come in, there'll be meetings, etc. Get your session in the morning. And it's also good as it helps your body get used to the early starts, which you will need for an Ironman race. Another element about this is making sure that you have all your equipment and food and everything prepared in advance the night before. If you know it's a swim session in the morning, make sure you have your goggles, your hat, your swim kit, your towel in a bag. So when you wake up in the morning, you just pick the bag up, you go out the door. You don't want to be trying to figure that stuff out when it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're tired and everything's a bit blurry. Backing up on another point I said about using morning time as your prime time to get some stuff done. That ties into a concept I call stealth training. Stealth training is not as cool as it sounds. It does not mean you're a ninja climbing up walls, but it means that you are trying to do training when otherwise other people would notice as such. So there's nothing worse when you come home and there's work, family stuff to happen, and you just go, no, I'm going to have to run. You go, no, you need to help out here. But if you look for dead spots in your day, your commute into work, could that be a cycle? Lunchtime, could you go for a 40-minute run at lunch? And that essentially becomes stealth training when the people most affected by you don't even notice it. Again, ties in the early mornings. It helps keep everything a little bit, it gives you a bit more free time as you're turning that dead time into actually training productive time. And it removes a bit of stress from the support network. P number 3 is prioritize. Yes, there will be trade-offs. There's absolutely no way you're going to get everything done. Just accept you're going to have to let certain sessions slide. But what to slide? So for me, as a rule of thumb, in an Ironman, a 70.3 training year, P1 is long bike, P2 is long run, P3 is your long swim. The next layer underneath that is your speed and strength sessions on the bike and also in the swims. Underneath that, you have the aerobic sessions and the recovery sessions and possibly some of the technique stuff. They're become nicer to have. If you hit those, use that as a priority and sort of go, look, I have to move my week around and use that as your kind of priority tree, you'll do okay. Now, massive caveat. As I said, if you are a Uber biker and you're hitting all your bike sessions because you like the bike, you're not really getting the best bang for your buck. I think this as a concept of train to your weaknesses, race to your strengths. So if you are a strong biker, but a weak runner, your long run is your priority one, because that's where you need to get the most bang for your buck. P number 4 is perform. This is again tied back to having a plan and being clear on what's important. You got to know when you get up and you're going to do a session, what's the objective of the session? What are the numbers you got to hit? And you got to hit them. Why? Because your time is precious and you can't afford to junk training, sort of meandering through a run when it's meant to be a tempo effort or it's meant to be a hard interval session. You've got to know what you're trying to get done that session. So you know when you've done that run session, you absolutely nailed it. And that means that you will move yourself forward in the plan rather than, was it a meandering through it, half asleep, etc. Get up, know what the plan is, and this counts into when you're looking at the plan night before. It's a hard run session in the morning. I've got to get ready for that. So hit those numbers. So there you go, guys. As I said, accept that you will need to make some trade-offs, accept it's going to be stressful at times. But if you follow the 4 Ps, plan, prepare, prioritize, and perform, you'll get the most of you possibly can out of your crucial time. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. Hope it was useful. And again, as we say in Smart Endurance Solutions, trust the process, the results will come.